Week 8 in the NFL had included 13 total games played, but only one out of those 13 games had ended in a one-score game. This one game would be a matchup between the 0-7 New York Jets, who were the only winless team in the league, and the Cincinnati Bengals team that just came off a surprising win over the Steelers on Thursday Night Football the previous week. If you've been keeping up with the Jets this season, you've already know why the Bengals were heavily favored, as Joe Flacco's performance at QB had sparked confidence to this team, while Justin Fields and the Jets offense had struggled over the past few weeks to get the ball moving and getting points on the board. It was getting so bad that Justin Fields wasn't even sure he was going to be starting for the Jets after his past two-game performance, and the harsh criticism from team owner Woody Johnson on Fields' play didn't help much either. Now, many of you here already know the final score to that game, but in this video I'll go over why Justin Fields' game against the Bengals meant so much to the Jets moving forward, but also how this game affected Justin Fields' career as a Jet and player moving forward. But before we get there, let me rewind 2 weeks so we can see how we got here. It all started with the Week 6 game against Denver, as it was a tough outing for Justin Fields, as he had finished the game with only 45 passing yards, a rating of 58.7, and was sacked 9 times throughout the game. As a result, the Jets lost a close one to the Broncos in a tough defensive matchup for both teams with the score of 13-11. The media and fans were calling for Justin Fields to be benched in Week 7's game against the Carolina Panthers, but Jets head coach Aaron Glenn had stayed committed to his quarterback, stating that it will take more than one bad game to bench Fields. And to Coach Glenn's credit, he was right. Fields had played fairly well in his previous games this season, and it wasn't like the Jets were getting blown out every game. 4 of their 6 losses were in one-score games, and to make it worse, 3 of their 6 losses were 2-point games. Week 1 against the Steelers, Week 3 against the Buccaneers, and Week 6 against the Broncos. Fields and the Jets' next game would be Week 7 at home against the Panthers. However, once again, Fields and the Jets' offense failed to get going, scoring only 3 points in the first half. With Fields going 6 for 12 for 46 yards in the first half, Coach Glenn had seen enough and made his decision to bench Fields for backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Taylor would come in and get the ball moving for the Jets, but his 2 interceptions would hurt the Jets as they were looking for any kind of momentum in that game. Once again, the Jets would lose in a one-score game, losing to the Panthers 13-6, falling to 0-7. After the loss to the Panthers, Aaron Glenn had a choice to make at quarterback position. As Week 8 was approaching before Coach Glenn's decision, on Monday, 6 days before the Bengals game, Jets owner Woody Johnson was asked about the job that first-year coach Aaron Glenn had been doing so far with the team. In response, Johnson would defend Coach Glenn, but, at the same time, shift the blame elsewhere.
The defense is pretty good. And if we can just complete a pass, it would look good. We got to complete some passes. You got to convince them that you can do something. Otherwise, it's hard to have a game that you can win. The offense is just not clicking, and you can't run the ball if you can't pass the ball.
Now, I get at the end of the day, management's priority is winning games. It doesn't matter how close you were, if your star wide receiver got hurt, or even if you got 3 crowned in Clash Royale. Wins are what keep fans happy, stadiums filled, and revenue coming in. Although fans were split on this one, as some had agreed with Woody Johnson's comments on Justin Fields, while others had stated that Fields wasn't the main problem with the Jets' 0-7 start. When Fields was asked about Woody Johnson's comments, he didn't take them personally and understood that he had to play better. However, a decision was going to be made by Aaron Glenn, and he was committed to keeping his decision as starting quarterback a secret from the media and Bengals on Friday. But after Tyrod Taylor was listed on the injury report and downgraded to out due to a knee injury, and finally, after an eventful week, a decision was made and Justin Fields would start Week 8 against the Bengals. After 7 weeks with the Jets, it had already seemed that the game was going to be Justin Fields' last chance to prove himself. The Jets were without star wide receiver Garrett Wilson, and as soon as the game started, it was already looking like the Bengals were going to dominate, as the Jets' first possession was a turnover. The Bengals wasted no time and scored a touchdown off that turnover. And midway through the second quarter, the score was 17-3. However, on the Jets' 4th drive of the game, Fields was able to get going, throwing for a 34-yard pass deep towards the middle to find Tyler Johnson. Then 4 plays later, on 4th down, when the Jets needed a score desperately, Fields found Tyler Johnson again, this time for a 15-yard touchdown pass, making the score 10-17. This was Fields' first touchdown since the Jets' Week 5 matchup against the Cowboys. Now, unfortunately for the Jets, the Bengals' offense would continue to light up the scoreboard, going up 31-16 in the 4th quarter, after a 32-yard touchdown run by Samaje Perine. The Jets would drive down the field, though, with help from Breece Hall's 35-yard run. Then on 3rd and 2, on the Bengals' 5-yard line, Breece Hall would run it in for a touchdown. The Jets would go for 2, as Fields would maneuver around pressure, finding an open lane to the right and sprinting to convert the 2-point conversion. But once again, the Bengals would score a touchdown on a Chase Brown 1-yard run, making the score 24-38 Bengals in the fourth. The Jets would need to score quickly if they wanted to stay in the game, but around midfield they found themselves facing a 4th and 1. With great protection by the O-line, Fields was able to find Mason Taylor for a 24-yard pass. The very next play, Breece Hall was able to take it 27 yards to the house, and Jets once again were going for 2. Fields was able to avoid defenders, and even while being taken down, managed to find Isaiah Davis in the end zone for a 2-point conversion, making the score now 32-38. The Jets defense would finally get a stop and give the Jets a chance to take the lead with 6 minutes left in the game. Fields would open the drive with a 23-yard pass to Arian Smith. They would mix up the run and pass, and with help from Breece Hall once again, getting down to the red zone, Breece Hall would do the rest as he threw for a touchdown pass on a trick play to Mason Taylor. And after the point after, the Jets would go up 39-38 with 1:54 left in the fourth. The Jets had the Bengals on a 4th down at their own 45 with the game on the line.
Flacco protected. Flacco's pass incomplete.
And finally, the Jets defense was able to stop the high-scoring Bengals offense. And as Justin Fields and the Jets lined up in victory formation and finally kneeled the ball down, the Jets had finally earned their first win of the season, resulting in a 39-38 victory over the Bengals. Although Fields' numbers weren't eye-catching, he didn't turn the ball over and came up clutch when the team needed him to. And I had to give credit to Breece Hall as he scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth, doing it through the ground and air. And after everything that happened throughout the last few weeks, the underperformances, the comments made by Jets owner Woody Johnson, and his starting job at quarterback in jeopardy, a good performance and a win for Fields couldn't have come at a better time. But what really stood out to me after the game was the honesty of Fields in his post-game interview.
What's this week been like for you?
It's been a lot of, it's been a lot for me, emotionally, spiritually. I'm gonna get pretty vulnerable right here, but this week I kind of, I found myself in my closet crying, on the ground, laying down. It was just a sign from God for me to keep going, and that I'm in the right place. Yesterday I was just praying over and over and over again, like just one win, and that God is real, God is good, and everything that we go through in this life is for a purpose. So.
Now I understand it's only one game, and some might say even that the Bengals defense is the bottom 3 in the league, but it's clear how important this win was for Fields and the Jets. The Jets improved to 1-7 and have a bye week in Week 9, and even though Coach Glenn had stated that he's not committed to a quarterback yet in Week 10's matchup against the Browns, and that a decision between Fields and Taylor will be made, only time will tell, and we'll see what decision will be made within the next few weeks. But it's hard not to root for Fields, especially with what he's endured during his career with the ups and downs. And even though the season might not have started the way he wanted it to, I'll be looking forward to how Fields and the Jets finish the season, and if Fields will still be playing for the Jets this time next year. If you made it this far, let me know what you think about Justin Fields and if he'll build off this game against the Bengals, or if you think Tyrod Taylor should get the start once he's healthy. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.